2. Whoops. Oh, hit the wrong button. 3, 2, 1. Mr. Joseph Tedai, thank you for coming.
How you doing?
Sir. I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah, so we started talking last time about your training for an ultra marathon, and me and Don were laughing about about how not in shape we are. And I've always picked your brain. You and I have talked on and off the podcast, and I read Lone Operator, and because I was in good shape in college, and I started asking you about kind of how do I get back into it. And whereas normally you might, I work at a liquor store, and I ID women all the time. Sometimes you flirt, make them feel younger.
Right.
I legitimately thought you were younger than you were. Like I knew how old Dale was because he says it in his book. And you said that you and Dale were in the same unit that Annie Jacobson wrote about in Surprise, Kill, Vanish. And I remember I was thinking, I was like, oh, so I was like, Dale just took this guy under his wing, and I was like, because Dale, I was like, I know how old Dale is, right? Dale's what, mid-50s? And yeah. And I was like, I remember it was as candid and as genuine as, and I was just like, yeah, because I was like, how old are you, Ted? What, you're like 40, 41? And I was going to lead into that, and you're like, no, man, I'm over 50. And I was like, I don't believe you. But I remember that was something that has still stuck with me, because I was like, you are legitimately over 50, and I had no
55.
idea. That's insane. That is legitimately, genuinely insane.
I hate to admit it, but I am.
Dude, you're 7 years younger than my dad. All right? You're 25 years older than me. You're in better shape.
Come on, man. You're killing me.
You're in better shape. I thought I was, dude, my Lord. But well, that's one thing we kind of, we let off on in Lone Operator. And you talk about the 77 hours of escape and evasion. And you really kind of hammered down on, you were like, hey, training, important. The guys you're with, invaluable.
Right.
But you were like, what it came down to was that I was fit. The machine was physically able to keep going, because you can go mind over matter, but if your body is actually depleted of glycogen and oxygen, and you're not doing it, it doesn't care. It just says, it's like, hey, we had a good run, you're done.
Right.
Yeah,
that's true. When I wrote Lone Operator, I didn't want to get into war stories, but that was one particular story that I wanted to talk about because it boiled down to fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with another guy who was in stud shape, and that the fact of the matter was, we were running low on ammo, and the turning point and the actual reason why we actually got away from the bad guys was that we were putting time and distance between us and them, plain and simple. And that means we were nonstop moving, and it was for 77 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a picture in my book actually sitting on the back of the helo when we landed. And I looked pretty rough. My buddy took a picture of it for posterity and sent it to me a couple of weeks later. Yeah, I was pretty tired, man. But anyway, yeah, you're right. It came down to physical fitness, man. Period.
Yeah. And it kind of almost, it's kind of a weird analogy, but it almost makes me think of the first atomic bomb test. Because they had armed soldiers standing around it at in Alamogordo, New Mexico at 5:45 a.m., July 16th, 1945. Know your history. But they were down there, and they had them guarded up to the very last moment. And then at 30 minutes, T-minus 30 minutes, they would get a signal to, I think, from Leslie Groves, the head of the operation, was, quote, get in the Jeep and drive as fast as you can. And if the Jeep doesn't work, and they chose 3 fit guys, they said if at any point the Jeep stops, you have 30 minutes to get out of the blast radius. Because we're not putting off this test. It's July 1945. Hitler just died. We got to take out Japan.
Right.
This is going through. Right. Sorry, guys. You'll get a Purple Heart.
Right. That's about it.
But that was it. And I remember thinking,
crazy, like, I didn't know that, man.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Fun fact. But
wow.
Yeah. But you talk about that, and you talk about in your book how that's not how you always were.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Can you get into that? Because you talk about in your book, and I remember you said it to me one time. You said the training, and you're like, Tom, all you need is you need a beach, you need a water, you need some monkey bars. And I was like, for what? And you were like, for torture. And I was like,
yeah, man. A lot of people that they see me now and they think, well, this dude must have been a high school athlete or college athlete, when in fact That's about as far from the truth as you can be. I was literally, Tom, when I went into Marine Corps boot camp 10 days after I graduated high school, I weighed 99 pounds when I weighed in. No lie, 99 pounds. I didn't play any sports in high school. I actually had a phobia of water and heights, which is crazy. But yeah, I was not an athlete. And so what people need to understand is, and people that are listening right now, is just because you may be there, maybe you were me right now, do not let that preclude you from becoming athletic, because that's just an excuse. And as you know, excuses sound best to the person that's making them up.
Absolutely.
So I was not that guy. And no, it's not DNA. I didn't have good DNA to be an athlete. I mean, so it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so even with, we always, at least for me, someone that's not in the military, you always kind of have these tiers in your mind of fitness. And
right.
I always laugh at just how like stringent you and Dale Comstock are, and how you can't talk about the unit that you were in. And that I guess for manners and for legal sake, I know you guys can't, so I wouldn't say it, but I know I'm allowed to say it. So I always say it in other episodes. For anyone that's read Annie Jacobson's Surprise Kill Vanish or played Black Ops 1 or 2 for my generation, the video game, on the left side, it always comes up. I know you don't play, but for everyone listening, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. On the left side, it always comes up, here's the mission. We're going in to get Castro, blah, 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 blah. And then it will start redacting it. And it always just leaves a couple things. You'll always see on the left side, it has the name of a specific unit. Anyone that plays, look it up. I'll overlay it. That's what they were in. And it is the true Black Ops. Everything else is under the Department of Defense. This is the only unit that's under Title 50. And for anyone that knows anything will know just how serious that is. But to build on that sort of hierarchical, continual escalation, right? A hand grenade, TNT, C4, right. A bunker buster, a thermonuclear bomb. Would you say that fitness also scales up? Would you say that to be in that area? Because it's not even Delta, not even DevGru. For everyone that doesn't know what DevGru is, SEAL Team 6. Delta, Delta works. So if anyone's seen Black Hawk Down. Neither of them even, I'm not putting them down, obviously, because look at me, but even they don't have to do a polygraph test, right?
No, they do not.
So TSSCA, top secret, secure compartmentalized information with a polygraph test. So if we're continually getting up to this apex, could you say, or would you say that that's also, there's a fitness level?
Yes, absolutely. And that's actually a really good question, Tom, and there's a reason for it. And the reason is, as the mission sets increase from your tier 2 units, your tier 1 units, to the unit that Dale and I was in, you got to understand the stressors, the requirements, the skill sets needed. Everything's kind of being bumped as you go up. So yes, you are going to be required to operate physically, mentally, emotionally at a higher level as you climb that ladder. Yeah. And I've climbed it, from being in the Marine Corps and Marine Recon, to being a Green Beret, to being in a highly classified government counter-terrorist unit. And the thing is, when I got in that unit, most of the guys that they hand pick, and it's a unit that basically cherry picks the best guys from Delta Force and SEAL Team 6. Yeah. And then, but anyway, so here I am, I'm in this unit, it's like kind of like being on a basketball team with a bunch of Michael Jordans.
Yeah. Dream team.
Yeah. And so, here I come in and I'm like, wow, like all these guys have been in these high speed units, and, they're shooting way, way off the scale. And their physical fitness is way off the scale. So, that helped me. That's when I actually, to be quite honest with you, when I saw for the first time in my life, extreme fitness.
Okay.
Not just like, I made it through, the Q course. I made it through BUDS. I made it through Ranger School. Guys that were like extremely fit. Yeah. Stupid in shape. That's when the light bulb went off. And being around those guys, I carried a pretty big chip on my shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to produce.
Yes. Yeah. That makes me think of, I remember like playing basketball in middle school. And as I got like better and better, I remember I'd want to play on like the Catholic school teams that I was in, and my dad would always say, he'd be like, no, like go for the AAU teams. And I'd be like, they're so much better than me. I don't get to play.
Right.
I don't get to score. And he was like, through osmosis, you'll become better. Right. It's do or die. It's sink or swim.
He was absolutely right, because that happened with me with these guys. You just, it's kind of like you cannot not get better being around guys that are that good.
Because you
can't.
You'll have to drop. I mean, I transferred from Valdosta State to the University of Georgia when I was pre-med, and I went from like getting straight A's. So I went to UGA, and I remember I could barely pull off C's that first semester, and I was so upset. But I was just like, this is gonna make me, and it did, and I rose to the top, right? But yeah, so in that, and it kind of makes me think of what Dale said about joining Delta. You know, you have to give 110% every day. There's no seniority. The day you stop giving 110%, the day we don't need you, and the day that you're bringing us down. So you'll be taken out to pasture very quickly, metaphorically, of course.
Right.
And there's a great documentary I watched on, I believe it was DevGru selection, and it said it's not always the best guy that gets in, it's the right guy.
That's right.
And even to sort of really stretch, I had on yesterday Rob Manning, the chief of NASA's JPL, about the ones that shoot the rovers to Mars.
Right.
More brains in a pinky than you and I have combined, and several lineages, right? I mean, and that was very apparent. But what he said is, and so what I'm getting at, though, it's these things that you don't expect. No seniority, you'll be dropped out. It's not the best guy, it's the right guy.
Right.
What he said, I go, so what? You just choose the best robot. And he said, not at all. What you do is you just keep taking everything. And the exact analogy he used is you're taking a machete and you're chopping off the things that fail. So you're going, that one doesn't work. That one doesn't work. So we have this idea of a rover that's going to get to Mars and work.
Right.
He said, what you do is you just execute each one that doesn't work. And then finally, he said, one day you look around and you go, oh, we have it. But there's no, so with that, so what I'm finding at these like apex is Mike Durant during captivity,
Right.
He said it wasn't focusing on getting out. It was focusing on that he will never get out. And that suppression of hope allowed him to survive. So it's all, the point I'm getting at after that word vomit is that when you get to the apex, there are always these mindsets, and they're the last thing you would expect. So with that going in, I got to ask, because, Dale's a sphinx when I'm talking to him about this.
Right.
What are the mindsets at that hyper upper echelon of fitness? What's the key that I don't know?
Tom, the funny thing is the secret of this is out there. And it's words we've all heard: commitment, dedication, right?
Yeah.
Raise the bar. All of these words that everybody talks about every day, it's just in units like that is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a hobby. It's not like, I'll go to the gym 1 or 2 days a week. It's not like that. It is your lifestyle. It's how you survive in high intensity armed confrontation. So the more, and I've said it, and where I came from, they said it, your survivability in combat is directly linked to your physical fitness level.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that we think any differently. It's just we're applying it to the nth degree. And the other thing that I would also like to say for people listening is that to become mentally tough. Now remember, you've got physical tough guys. I know guys can bench 500 pounds,
sure.
But if you stuck them outside in the rain for an hour, they'd be sniveling and rolling around on the ground, right? So being physically tough and being mentally weak, you have to have both. It's a very symbiotic relationship, right? And so you have that aspect of it as well. But the point I'm trying to make is learning how to become comfortable with being uncomfortable is key.
Yes.
And I do it every day. I take ice cold showers in the morning and ice cold showers at night. Why? It doesn't feel good, but it's good for your body.
Yes.
But who wants to take an ice cold shower in the morning? Everybody wants to take a nice warmie. You get out of bed. It's wintertime. That is the stuff that you must do to make yourself mentally tough. And that goes hand in hand with being physically tough. But there's no secret sauce, bro. It's commitment, dedication, working out when you're not feeling so hot, putting in the miles on the road, putting the miles in on the swim, saying you're going to do it, and raising the bar as you go. I see people, matter of fact, I saw a guy at the gym the other day. I've been seeing this guy at the gym for years. He's there every day I'm there. He's there. He looks no different. And I walked up to him. I wasn't trying to be mean, and I know his name. I'm not going to say his name. I said, "Hey, how you been?" And I said, "Look, I'm just curious. Have you ever thought that what you're doing isn't working?" He says, "Well, yeah, I know it's not working." And I said, "Well, how do you know?" He said, "Well, I look at myself in the mirror every day." I said, "Well, why aren't you doing something about it?" And the sad thing is he goes, "I really don't know what to ask." And this is a common problem with people, and he's in good shape. Don't get me wrong. The guy's fit, but for the amount of time that he's working out, he should be in stud shape, right? And he's not. And that's another problem when it comes to fitness is people, they don't want to go to the gym because they're embarrassed. I don't know what this machine does. I don't know what that does. And they don't want to ask anybody, right? Yeah. And remember, the fitness triad is exercise, rest and recovery, and nutrition, right? You have to have all three. You can't eat great and sleep great and not exercise.
Yeah.
And you can't exercise and sleep great and eat like crap. It's all got, that's the difference.
Yeah.
To answer your question, you got to be fanatical at it. You can't just do it as a hobby. It's got to become a part of your lifestyle.
Okay. And you can just tell how my mind works. Back to nuclear bombs, right? It's but really, what they had work was quick science lesson. They had the first type was you take a plutonium slug and you shoot it into another one. That's called gun type, and it worked some of the time. The one that they used on Nagasaki and the one that they still use to this day, it's called implosion type, and it's where you put explosives all around the core.
Right.
Not just you just place them. I mean, they had actual sculptors come in and make the explosive charges like art pieces, and you build them almost like a soccer ball shell.
Right.
But by having them all around each other and going off within microseconds, not milliseconds, but microseconds of each other, the inward force from all angles causes it to be a thermonuclear or a nuclear explosion and then later thermonuclear. But point being is it's kind of the triad. You can do 99 of the 100 shaped charges. And sure, you'll have a spectacular boom, but it's nothing that you can't do off the coast of New Jersey on July 4th. Hey, look at it go.
Right.
You add that one last one.
Right.
And you do it at the same time. That's when, that's when you have an A-bomb.
Right.
And that's what I'm thinking. Nuclear triad, or not, almost nuclear triad, fitness triad.
Right.
If you don't do it all, and oftentimes it's just one last piece, and you can go from a bomb to, the power of God, right? So that's kind of. And
you have to have the proper motivation.
Yes.
And this is something that people that are listening need to listen. If they get one thing out of this whole conversation, if you can figure out what that motivation is, that when you think about it, it stirs you to the core, almost to the point of tears. And you learn to weaponize that to help yourself perform, you become a very dangerous person.
Yes.
You have now weaponized yourself. You basically have just slapped a supercharger on your engine.
Yeah.
And I will share a very personal piece of information. Every day I go to the gym, and when I open up my gym bag, there's a laminated picture of a very dear friend of mine, Mike Donatelli, who former Ranger, Green Beret Delta guy, known Mike for years. He was tragically killed in a helicopter accident. Matter of fact, Dale and I were on the scene, the first two guys there. But Mike used to call me every morning, very early in the morning, before I was even out of bed, and my phone would ring, and I go, hello, and he's like, time to go to the gym, Skippy. And he'd already be at the gym, and I was just getting up. So I use his photo every day when I open up my gym bag. It's right there. That is my motivation. I don't want to disappoint this man.
Yes.
Because I honor him by training harder every day because he can.
Yes.
And this is a guy that was a stud. He was a boxer. He was at the gym, twice a day, incredibly physically fit guy. So I have tapped into a tragedy in my life that I have now turned into a positive thing.
Okay.
And I challenge people that are listening, if you can do that, whether it's your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, kids, whatever the case may be, whatever stirs you emotionally. Like when I hear the national anthem, if you start playing the national anthem, I start crying.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It just stirs me a little. I mean, it stirs me emotionally. If you can figure that out, you've got a very, very powerful weapon in your climbing that ladder to physical fitness.
That is. I mean, I've said it before on here. As much as I goof around on this podcast, my primary goal for it is to leave this world a better place than I found it, and I want to use this to get big enough. Hopefully, I fully intend on surpassing Rogan. Taking me about 15 years, but you can quote that. But I want to bring awareness to mental health. I mean, I lost a sibling to suicide in 2014, and but to bring around to what you said is, it's great when subscriber counts bumping up, and I got Dale and Ted Eye and Don the Pleb, and we're all yelling and laughing until we're purple in the face. Those days are great. What aren't great are the days you wake up, you got to go work 8 hours, and you come home and your guest is showing up 5 minutes late, and then he comes on and it's pulling teeth. Those are the days where you very quickly just want to go, I don't want to do the podcast, whatever.
Right.
That's when I go, I'm like, hey, what am I doing this for?
That's
right. Fun, sure, it's fun, but I'm like, what am I doing this? Like, I want to leave an impact. And to Mike Donatelli, I think of my brother John, and I go, I don't want that to be in vain. So
right.
I get you.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes. But on kind of segueing from that, I look at it as like, you can, when I first started this podcast, I was really into it. And I was doing 2-3 episodes a day for a couple of weeks, and I got to like 40 episodes in no time. And I remember one day I was just like, I had my head on the laptop and I was snoring as it was editing. And I realized that this wasn't a sustainable pace. 77 hours escape and evasion.
Right.
That's great when you need it.
Right.
Not what you do nonstop. Correct. And you said this in your book. You said, early on you thought that rest days and relaxation, that's weak. But then you found you're like, by taking a day off, you can actually go farther. So it's wisdom over weakness. It's strength over stupidity, right?
And that's been one of my biggest mistakes. We all make mistakes.
Right.
Is I've been training to more of an elite level athlete. I have not worked out. I work out harder, but I take 2 days off a week now, Wednesdays and Sundays, because I was overtraining. I was noticing I would plateau. And I'm like, I'm not getting stronger. I'm not getting faster. My run times are, and it was because my muscles weren't getting time to recover. And so, and that's a big mistake a lot of people make is they overtrain. I go to the gym 7 days a week. Probably not a good idea. I highly suggest you don't do that. And that's how you get injured as well. And you don't need an injury. And I've been injured many, many times. As a matter of fact, I've got a torn calf muscle. I tore my calf last week running. Don't even know how I did it. But I'm easing on it right now and I've got it wrapped. But the bottom line is you don't want to overtrain. Yeah. And that's been a mistake that I've made in my fitness journey. And it is a journey. Fitness is not a destination. Like, okay, I'm going to get here and I'm done.
And then I'm done. And then I'm looking great.
There's always another mountain to climb, bro.
Yeah.
And so, at least that's how I look at it. And like I mentioned to you the other day, I just registered. I'm getting ready to register for a 100-mile ultra marathon. And so I've never done one. The farthest I've ever gone was 36 miles. And so a lot of people are like, hey, man, you're biting off more you can chew. But I've got time to train. It's literally this time next year.
Okay.
So I've got a year to prep my body for it. And, my goal is just to complete it. Mm-hmm. I'm not there to try to, there's going to be people there that are world class, that's what they do for a living. That's not what I do for a living. It's just another challenge that I want to, kind of force on myself and see if I can sustain myself. And for that far, let's face it, I'm not built for running. I'm not built for swimming. I'm 5'9", 195 pounds. I'm not built as a runner or a swimmer. Most of the people that do those kinds of competitions are very lean. They're not toting around a lot of body weight. They're $150, $160. So, and that's where I get into this whole hybrid athlete type training. I don't want to be. When people see me, they think, well, you got a lot of muscle on you. I do. I've got a lot of muscle. I'm actually going to lose some for this race, but I look at athleticism like this. And nothing against bodybuilders. It takes a lot to get like that, a lot of discipline. You got to eat right. I mean, it's crazy what you have to do to look like that. My goal, my personal goal, is not to be a bodybuilder, but a hybrid athlete. I want to be able to run, swim, bike, climb, scuba dive, shoot, everything at a very high level.
Okay.
That is my personal fitness goal. And that's how I train.
Okay. So kind of Renaissance man of jack of all trades.
Yeah, pretty much. I want to be able to. Now, again, this isn't sports oriented. I'm not saying I want to go play football or baseball. I really don't even watch pro sports. I just want to be able to go, you know what? I want to go for a 10-mile run. I want to go for a 2-mile swim. I want to go hike, the Appalachian Trail this weekend and hike, 50 miles in 2 days, whatever the case may be, or go climb in Boone. For me, that's how I enjoy my life. I enjoy doing physical activities like that. And so being what I call a hybrid athlete, which is kind of like a new term that's out there,
sure.
That is how I train. That is how I specifically train.
Sure. So, all right, as anyone listening to this podcast knows, how my mind is all over the place. So now I'm tying it back to not nuclear bombs, but lone operator, right? And you're talking, actually, when you lived in Vegas, you were near the Pepcon explosion, so I guess there's a bomb in there. But you did trading, on Wall Street. You talked about opening a gym. You talked about, I love the methods you talked about, just in general, starting a business. I like those a lot. It was, choose your cost, throw 20% on that, check everyone's background. Just, hey, if they have a problem with it, they're probably hiding something. If they don't have a problem with it, they won't even care. They'll just probably, they'll look at you a little weird, but hey, whatever, better safe than sorry. Because you have a company with Dale.
Right.
I know that. Yeah, we've talked about that before, and this is no secret. You did trading. You did open a gym. But why aren't you going? Because even you look at someone like Jocko, right? Jocko Willing. Mm-hmm. Jocko's got his own fitness thing, right? Rogan's got On It. I do not know how David Goggins doesn't have something. But
that guy is a cyborg for sure.
Yeah. That guy's
and he's a great example for anybody that's listening. Google that man. Look, I give credit where credit is due. Yeah. David Goggins is an extreme athlete. He was like almost 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Way overweight. Went to the Navy. Went in the SEAL program. Became a SEAL. Did his time. Got out, and now he's an ultra endurance athlete.
Yeah.
Watch some of this guy's videos. And actually, Tom, there's a good reason. Now, look, I will tell you, I've never met David, but the guy, he tells you the way it is. And he's going to tell you why he is the way he is. And it's the same thing I just said.
Yeah.
He says it a little more harshly, but, he will tell you the same exact thing. Dedication, perseverance, commitment. You got to want it. You got to become, comfortable being uncomfortable. It's every cylinder in the engine's got to be firing.
Yeah.
And watch some of his videos. The guy, he's quite motivating.
Yeah. Yeah, and he definitely talks about when he first started out, it was nothing but milkshakes.
Yeah.
The first run I went for, I did an 1/8 of a mile, came home, cried, and had a milkshake. Right?
Yeah. It's an amazing story.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, and that's not the path of. So, and when you go from that, one of my friends is a bodybuilder, Ivan Georgiev from Bulgaria. He was Mr. Bulgaria. He looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's 6'4". He's one of those just tall, not like you and me, one of those tall, beautiful guys.
Right.
But someone like him, because I remember when I first met him working at a bar in Ocean City, which is where I live, Secrets, that huge bar, crazy place. But I remember he was just doing nothing but working out, and I would always ask him, I'd be like, what is like in college, I didn't just study because I liked studying. I studied because I wanted to be a doctor and to get in medical school. With Ivan, I was like, what do you put your life into this? What are you doing? And now I eat my words, because now Ivan, he's sponsored. I think he's sponsored by, I don't know, what's one of the whey protein companies. Jay Cutler, the big Mr. Olympia, right. He's sponsored by them. You're not, or I was going to say obviously, you're not in the military anymore, correct?
No.
No, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
No, I'm not. I have no affiliation with any military or government organization. No.
So, why still do it at such a high level? I know that's where you find your peace, and that's how you survive. You talked about lone operator. You said that you just have to, that's where it's not, like you said, it's not a destination, right? You have to do that to survive. I feel like this would be right up your. Why don't you have a fitness podcast? Why don't you have? Because I mean, you opened a gym, but what you don't? What else?
Time. One of the things is time. I've got a lot going on right now. As a matter of fact, I am in the process of starting a supplement company, and
You sly dog.
yeah, and actually, our first line of products are going to be specifically engineered for the 45 and older individual, men and women. And so I'm probably 80% down the road to getting this done, and website and everything's being developed. I've already got the partnership with the company to make the supplements, and it's been tough because as I've gotten older, the same supplements I took 30 years ago aren't the ones I'm taking now.
No, yeah. I mean,
at 55, I need different nutrients.
Yeah, there's different multivitamin bottles, right?
Yeah.
55 and up. Yeah.
Exactly. So these are going to be specifically engineered for people my age, 45 and older. And so I'm going through a lot of formulation stuff right now. It's a steep learning curve because I'm not a biochemist, right? And I'm just working with their doctors and their formulation people to say, look, I know this is what works because I've used supplements for the last 30 years.
Sure.
Some have been great. Some haven't done anything. Some have been great, but given me serious side effects like the shake's really bad, bloating, gas, diarrhea. You don't need that mixed in with your workout, right? Yeah. You don't need to be at the gym, shoulder presses and almost, I got to run to the bathroom now. That doesn't work. So I'm going through everything with them and basically saying, I needed to do this, but I don't want these side effects. Okay. Or if I have these side effects, I want to be that much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Because that's what I was getting to is like when you see someone like Jocko or Rogan kind of advertise something like that, I'm like, I get it, right? You look at, it's like the quote, you never trust a skinny chef, right? This is the best. No, I want the fat chef who can barely breathe because that fettuccine Alfredo is out of this world. But even on Rogan, I remember listening to Kevin Hart and he was plugging his vitamin thing. But I remember thinking, I was like, I don't look at Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's funny, he's hilarious, but I don't look at him and I'm like, yes, Adonis's belt, like the pinnacle of Apex, right? Okay, because I think I've berated you before about that. Like, why don't you? But I guess I'll eat my words. That's what you're doing now.
Yeah, it's actually somebody approached me several months ago to do it. And actually it was a friend of mine that first put the idea in my head. And I'm like, man, I'm kind of busy, I don't know this. And then I started really thinking about it. And then I'm like, you know what? I actually have a hard time finding the right supplements. I mean, I do take certain things, my pre-workout and post-workout, but like there are other things as a man of my age needs, not only for performance aspects, but like recovery, booster testosterone level, all kind of things, like joints ache. I mean, I've been rode hard and put up wet. And so a lot of people out there are in the same boat. So our formulations are going to be specifically geared for that. That's going to be our first phase of products. It's just specifically for 45 and older. Then we're going to go into another phase. We're going to do some youth athlete type stuff. And some other things we're actually developing right now that are kind of be shelved until we get going. But it's exciting, man.
You needed to, and I know I said I wouldn't keep you over 30 minutes, and I've already gone 3 minutes over. Is how Rogan always plugs it, Alpha Brain. He always I've never taken it. I've just always, when I want to get.
I haven't either.
Yeah, and I'm sure it works. I mean, there's science behind lion's mane mushrooms and was it huperzine. I used to take my own concoctions in college to study, and I hope there aren't any lasting side effects. I was thinking, man, you need to make a podcast combo. You need to make something like Alpha Brain. You need to make a TPC packet. I'll take it before I podcast.
Yeah, dude, there's all kind of things. Look, man, it's 2020, and so. There's so many things out there that there's thousands of products.
Sure.
And, you talk to the average consumer that, maybe a guy my age is like, yeah, I golf and I hike and I do this, but they really don't know what they need. Yeah. How Dale and I say it all the time. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
We're going to teach and educate people like, look, at your age, you need to be taking the following, right? You need to be taking the magnesium and the B12s. There's a bunch of things that need to be added to your dietary income, which, again, you can't just take supplements and think it's going to be the cure-all. You got to eat right.
Yeah.
Hence the word supplement. It supplements what you're eating.
Touche.
Right?
Touche.
Yeah, it's giving you that edge, right? Yeah. And I say it all the time, and you know it as well as I do, Tom. In today's world, everything's so competitive. Everything's measured in inches and seconds. Whether it's in the battlefield or the boardroom. That's what these supplements do for you. They give you that competitive edge. Even if it's 1%, like where I came from, I'll tell you what, 1% all day long, because that might be just enough to get me to the next day.
Yeah.
And a small example, when I was in the unit, Dale and I were in government unit, they sent me off to train with Jerry Barnhart. Jerry Barnhart, for those of you that don't know, is 10-time IPSC world champion, one of the best pistol shooters of all time. They sent me to train with him for 2 weeks to shave off 0.2 of a second off my draw time. You see what I'm saying?
Good Lord.
Well, no, for real.
Yeah, I am. I'm laughing.
Yeah, I mean, for real. And he did.
The insanity.
But that is what I'm talking about. That little competitive edge just to get you to the finish line, just to get you through the next day. That's what supplements can do for you if you take the right ones.
And if you put in the work, right? It doesn't matter if you're just, thinking
you can't just take them and think it's going to, look at me. You got to go to the gym too.
Yeah.
But if you take the right supplements, it will work. Yeah. I'm living proof of it.
I know you are. And I
living proof.
Like I said, I love having you on, and I hate having you on because people will comment and they'll be like, who's the Jack guy? And I'll be like, what about the host? He's handsome. And they'll be like, no, that he's kind of chubby. Who's like the yoked guy? And I'll be like, get off my podcast. Unsubscribe now. Yeah, Dale will come on. They'll be like, no, not the old guy, not the. And I'm like, they throw me and Dale out, baby. So there's always. I mean, I love having you on because even this, man, it's like we talked yesterday, and as much as we were joking about like ultra marathon, I emailed you after, and I was like, dog, like, because I was in, and I hate being that guy, but like I was in awesome shape for like 10 years, and I'm still getting back there. So just on a personal, I mean, I can cut this out if you want, but I appreciate you coming on because I did ask you to come on and just kind of let me pick your brand. I know you're a busy guy, but I appreciate you coming on and, just not giving me the, as much as I love Goggins, sometimes you do need some sugar to make the medicine go down and just saying, do it, mother, right? That doesn't work. But I appreciate you coming on and walking me through it. It's you sly dog inserting your supplement company, but hey, I respect the grind.
Yeah, man. We've kind of kept it on the download.
Yeah.
Dale knows about it. But when I really started thinking about it, it made a lot of sense. And once I kind of got all the pieces together, which it's a team event, as you know, I got to have the right team around me, and I do.
Sure.
I found a great company to make all the products. They're an FDA-approved facility. I've got an awesome account executive, customer rep. His name's Todd. Really, really smart guy. He's been kind of guiding me because this is brand new to me. I've never been in the supplement business. I've owned businesses. Sure. But every business is unique to itself. So he's been really helpful. And our tentative launch date is probably around February because they still have to make the formulas, deliver them to me. I've got to test them.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to test them. And then I've got to get back to them and say, hey, this one really, I need to tweak this. This flavor was kind of, that kind of stuff. So it takes time, but we're looking at probably mid-February from what I've been told. The name of the company is T1 Performance Nutrition.
Right.
Pretty simple. That's the website. It's just a T and a 1, performancenutrition.com.
Sure. I'll link it.
Yeah, man. And we're going to have, we should have a landing page up soon. And people will be able to contact us and we'll kind of just give them a heads up, keep them in tune with when the actual product's going to be delivered. But yeah, man, I'm pretty excited. I think it's needed, especially for the 45 and older crowd, because look, I tell you what, I'll challenge anyone right now that's listening. Go to Walmart or any other place that sells vitamins and see how many products you can look on the shelf that says specifically engineered for 45 plus.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Take a look.
I think that's fair.
Not a lot. Not a lot. It's mostly like bodybuilding type stuff.
Yeah.
And which I get, but for active adults, and again, this isn't for becoming a bodybuilder. This is for active adult lifestyle. Men and women that, you know, play golf, bike, swim, run. They have an active lifestyle. That's what these supplements are for. They're going to be specifically engineered for a very particular demographic.
Okay. Yeah, and hey, I'm going to hold you to it next year. You're going to make a podcast pouch or a podcast pill, and it's going to be I'm going to take it. They're going to be like, that guy's, or I don't know, maybe no one will take it. They'll be like, he relates everything to A-bombs. I don't want anything to do with that. But
and remember this too, Tom.
Sure.
You know, and this is going to be on our website. This isn't just science-based, okay? I'm not just going through some manual going, okay, all right, if you take L-arginine, this is what it's going to do.
Yeah.
This is science and experience-based.
Yeah.
Okay. My 30 plus years of training, being in military special operations, going through the hardest, most physically demanding training out there, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of it. I know what works and I know what doesn't work. Yeah. And that's all that it takes. Yeah. You can go in my kitchen. I've got stacks and stacks and stacks of supplements and stuff that I've taken. I've got notes on them. This one did this. This is how long it lasted. This one gave me gas. This one gave me a headache. This one gave me a headache and gas. You know, and for real, man. Yeah. Who needs that when you're working out? I don't. Sure. And so it's a lot of homework, right? It's a lot of studying, but I feel what I bring to the table is, you know, I can talk the talk, the walk. I've done it. Yeah. And personally, if I'm going to buy supplements from someone, I would rather be buying them from someone that uses it and knows exactly what I need. People today don't want to do the homework. They're too busy. Businessmen, businesswomen, they just want to be like, look, dude, tell me what I need and why. That's it. Yeah. Don't give me all the, you know.
Don't care. I don't care.
Give me. That's exactly. Sell the sizzle, not the fat. I don't want to know about what do I need to take. Yeah. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do for people.
Yeah. Well, man, I like I said, I legitimately appreciate it. I asked you to not even do a podcast. I was like, yo, can I just pick your brain? But I mean, turn into a podcast. So whatever, I'm going to upload it. I hope you're okay with that. I'm going to upload it. It's
of course, man. Yeah. I love to. We've done, how many podcasts have we done?
I was actually, hold on. I was actually, where is it? I was looking at it. So I was actually looking at count. No, I was looking at like my most viewed podcast. Come on. I was looking at my most viewed podcast. Oh, by the way, the one you, me, Dale, and Don the Pleb did is now the most viewed podcast.
Wow. No.
That took the cake. It took the cake. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, but I'm looking at my most viewed podcast. So that's the new most viewed. I think that was 208. Okay. What's the most viewed aside from that? Number 115 with who? With Dale Comstock and Joe Tedeye. The one after that, 50 with Dale Comstock. Below that, 109. My friend Joe with Dale Comstock and Joe Tedeye.
Oh, wow.
153, Joe Tedeye. 191, Dale Comstock, Joe Tedeye. Sam Culper. 170, Dale Comstock, Joe Tedeye. 57, Dale Comstock, Joe Tedeye.
Wow. Dude, congratulations. That's awesome, dude. That's impressive.
72, 136. It goes. So no, man. I mean, seriously though, like as a friend, thank you for, thank you for all the content, but also thank you for coming on and talking to me today. And I hope like I said, I know I said this was going to be a private conversation, but sometimes they blossom. Yeah, sometimes they blossom in the podcast, and so I'm going to upload it. But
by all means, man, I appreciate it. And
I appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, for those of you that are listening, give us some time, February, but we will have a landing page up soon. T1performancenutrition.com. Sure. Everything will be on there, and there'll be some really good products coming out here in February.
Yeah. Well, I link whenever people come on, authors or anyone that's got a page, they're always like, "Do you mind linking it?" I'm like, "Yes, I'll link it. You gave me free content. I'm going to link your stuff, so of course I'm going to link it." And I know you can't say anything, but last thing, what's that red patch below the flat? What red patch?
What?
I'll have to get.
You know what? There you go.
And transition and transmission. It's over. Yeah.
Actually, that flag though, Tom, to be honest with you, this is a flag that on my last rotation, I actually have the flag certificate
Yeah.
I flew it over Bagram for 9 minutes and 11 seconds.
Beautiful.
And you get your certificate. And so, but yeah, that was a flag I actually, hold on, let me see if I can. That's a flag I actually had folded up in my kit on all the missions I did in Afghanistan, Iraq. I had it with me on every single mission, and now it's place of honor on my wall. So,
hey, man.
yeah, it's yeah, man. Again, my motivation, you know. The flag.
Yeah.
As simple as it sounds.
It's not. Hey, man. It's simple and it's complex, and I'd say there's a reason why people still try to move here. But that was a beautiful episode about supplements and fitness and mental health. Really, I mean, for me, I tie it all into mental health, and hey, it's a nice break from the insanity of politics, and I like it. I like it. Get that taste out of my mouth.
I know you've got your hands in a lot of political stuff, and
yeah.
And thank you for doing that, dude. I know you put yourself out there, and you know that's important, and I respect that of you for sure.
I appreciate it, man. Well, hey, thank you for coming on, and yeah, till next time you meet Dale, we'll burn it down again.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.